Hello everyone. Welcome to this Google Cloud Platform training from MindMajix. In MindMajix, we have 10 plus years of experienced trainers. We have reputed corporates around the globe. We have over 9 years of experience in serving e-learning industry. We have 450,000 professionals who have got trained from us and they have been certified. We are industry ready and have certification based curriculum. We also provide technologies delivering live online trainings, corporate trainings, and self paced videos. Now, about the trainer, I have over 12 years of experience in IT, 10 years of experience in working with cloud platforms and data engineering tools such as Azure and Google Cloud. Personally, I am a logic driven person and strongly believe in fact based decision making. So in today's agenda we will be discussing about how to get started with Google Cloud. I'll be introducing you to Google Cloud and the different components, how to set up the environment, the GCP software requirement, the GCP benefits and its competitors. So if you can see these, this will be the overall course curriculum. The total course will be like 30 hours. Regarding the timing, you have to contact MindMajix, and regarding fee also you have to contact MindMajix. So this course will include like virtual networking, cloud IAM, data storage services, resource management, resource monitoring, infrastructure automation with cloud API, managed services, application infrastructure services, and containers. So some random topics like Google Cloud Computing, virtual Google Cloud or Google Compute Engine will create some virtual servers, VMs. Then Google Container Engine will set up Kubernetes, the microservice. And then regarding managed instance groups and load balancing, we'll also look at it, and then we'll also see ops and security. So these are not the only topics, these are some random topics. Besides these topics, there will be plenty of other stuff that we will be covering. At the end of the course, you'll be getting a certification from MindMajix. If you want to go ahead with the certifications from Google, so these are the list or the certifications. The course that I'll be covering is good enough for like most of the certifications. Some of the certification like machine learning and collaboration engineering or cloud security engineer, these are something there will be some extra topic that needs to be covered. For most of the certifications you'll be good enough with this course. So regarding the lab setup, so everything will be virtual and on web portal. Most of the application will be on web portal, so you should at least have Windows 7 or above. We'll be using Chrome heavily for this particular tutorial. So these are some of the interview questions. If you want, I can just go through these interview questions, and at the end of the session you should be able to answer all these questions. So this is regarding the GCP demo questionnaire. So if you have any doubts, please reach out to info@mindmajix.com. Let's go ahead and get started with the actual tutorial. It's more of a demo for today. Let's get started. I've opened Google Cloud Platform. So to get started or to start from scratch, I'll have to use console.cloud.google.com. So once I hit the URL, it will redirect me to dashboard page. It will redirect me to a dashboard page. If you see in this particular page, I have all these widgets which give me information about the projects that I have, the resources that I have been using, the compute engine, the APIs that I have been using. Can also trace like if there are any issues that had happened, I can trace that. So or any other data that I have, I can trace that. If in case I have any API requests, I can also trace that. So if I want to create a customized dashboard, so I can create a customized dashboard. So I'm just giving you an overview of different features that we can do. The actual training will start later stage. So now apart from this, we also have a self tutorial here, like how to explore and enable APIs, how to deploy a pre-built solution. All these details we already have some inbuilt tutorials. You can also take a look at it. Regarding the billing information, so whenever I create a new project, or whenever I'm creating a new project, so every time a new project gets created, you'll get a list of all the projects somewhere here. Now for every project, a lot of components are free, but not every component. Suppose, to give you an example, suppose if I want to create a virtual machine. So in this my first project, so in this particular project, I have created a virtual machine. If I can take you into the project, so this is the details of my project. Now, if I want to see the project settings, I can always use go to project settings. So if I select that, then I'll be able to look at the project settings. So if I want to shut down my project or migrate it to a different account, I can also do that, or migrate this particular project to like under a different project, I can also do that. Now, this privacy settings, I'll not be discussing anything on these right now. Let's go ahead and see the navigation key. So before we go to the navigation key, so remember, for every project or to get started, you have to upgrade your Google Cloud account first. So like once you are hitting the URL, then since I have already activated using my credit card, so there is a fees of like 1 rupee. You'll be charged for 1 rupee, and then your account gets active. So you'll need a premium license. Normally, you get like a 3 months premium license, and then around 21,000 rupees in terms of rupees. They give you a starting credit of 21,000, which is good enough for the current training that we will be having. Now, from that particular amount, we can use that particular amount to create multiple components and then look at different components that we will be creating. Before going there, let me show you the billing information. So here, if you go in the navigation menu, so here we have a billing option. So if I click on this billing option, so basically I'll be able to track like whatever I'm being billed. So the good thing about Google Cloud or any cloud application is when you're putting in your credit card details. So now if you see, so there has been some payment, outstanding payment dues on my account. So it will not directly go ahead and start deducting money from my card. What I can do is I can choose like an option when I'm putting up my credit card details. I can choose an option where I can choose not to pre-deduct or auto deduct from my account. So I can choose, or I can control that. So once I do that, so every time before deducting, they'll prompt me. So this is the amount that I need to pay. So like 278 is my monthly amount that I need to pay. So I can go ahead and make that payment upfront or after every month, so that my project keeps running. So now again, going forward regarding the report. So whenever we are using any cloud application, the billing becomes very important. So because there is it's like a prepaid service, so that you have to give your card details so that they have all those details, and after that only you can start using. So if you want to control that, you can have that information, like all the billing information, so that you can have then cost breakdown and everything, you can have it here. Going back to the application, so now let's go ahead and take a look at different components that we have. So before looking at the components, let's talk about first the competitors. So Google Cloud Platform is gaining a lot of traction over last few years. So it has really upgraded itself. Now if you talk about other products that's available in the market, EC2, AWS, EC2, both being from Amazon, are two cloud platforms. Then we also have Microsoft Azure. So to have like the popular applications that are being used for the cloud platform. Let's go ahead and then take a look at different components. So from this navigation menu, I can click on this navigation menu, and then I'll have all the components here listed down. Suppose I want to create an app engine or run some services, I can start some services here. I can look at the dashboards. Now for compute engine, if I want to create a VM instance, I'll show you how to create a VM instance and how to log into a VM in this particular tutorial or in this particular demo. So if I want to have a VM instance, and then instant templates. I want to attach a disk to my VM. I want to create a snapshot of the server. I can do everything from this particular option. Again, coming to Kubernetes or GC. So here, if I want to create clusters or workloads and then create services, I can do it from here. Then we also have other components like cloud functions, cloud run, VMware engines, like inbuilt VMware engines. Then we have these storage facilities like file storage, data transfer. We also have big tables data store. If we are migrating database migration, there is a great application here for database migration. Seamlessly we can migrate our database. Then we have a SQL. If I want to create, if I don't want to create a VM, I want to just create a SQL instance, I can also create a SQL instance, and then I can use the SQL instance, and then using some IDE or front end application, I can just connect locally on my system. Then there are also other options like VPC, network services, hybrid connectivity. So in detail, we'll have a discussion as we start the actual training. Then coming back to other components. So we have this data proc, PubSub, all these topics. For IoT also we have something IoT core. Then this is quite popular. This is gaining quite popularity, like BigQuery. So this is more for big data. So if I want to use big data, so I can use this BigQuery. It has number of components like SQL workspace, data transfers. We can create pipelines. Then we also have this BI engine. Can do all those stuff. So if you take a look at it, we have again coming back to more options. For AI, we have a number of options. For NLPs, we have a natural language processing option. Then there are a couple of AI platform options. But as we go along, we will be learning how to create a Jupyter Notebook instance, then how to handle Hadoop clusters, then so like in video intelligence. So there's a lot of features on this one. So whenever we are creating a solution, or whenever I'll not say solution, or whenever we are using an application among these options, so we can directly use the UI to create an application. For instance, if you want to automate, we also have a script option just like you have a PowerShell in Windows. There is a active cloud shell available in Google Cloud Platform. So if I'm using this active cloud shell, so if I'm using it, so it will take like a couple of seconds. So every operation or every option that we use, it has multiple options. So either you can use directly the UI. From UI, we can, suppose for example, if I want to create a VM, I can directly use the UI option. But if for some instance there is repetition in my work, I want to create like multiple VMs going forward, I can still use the cloud shell. Okay, so this is an example of cloud shell. So here we can write our shell programming, can write scripts and automate the development process. So for now, I'll just go ahead and close this. And as a part of this demo, I'll just go ahead and show you how we can create a virtual machine or virtual server. So to create a virtual server, I'll have to go to navigation menu, and from that navigation menu, I can go ahead and use the compute engine. From the compute engine, I can use the VM instances, and from this VM instances, I'll be able to choose or create a virtual machine. So now if you see, I have already created a virtual machine. If I want to see the configuration of a virtual machine, or I want to create a new instance or a new VM, so I can just click on this VM. And once I click on this VM, I can name it, name the VM. So as I go along, I'll see the monthly estimate. So the machine type, I can choose what type of machine I want. the configuration, like what is the CPU and the memory, I can choose that. For now, I'll not be creating exactly. I'll not be creating. I'll show you these options. Then what type of operating system I want. For now, by default, if you see, it has selected like a Debian GNU Linux 10 Buster OS. But if I want to change it to Windows, I can always do that. So if I go here and then I choose Windows Server, Ubuntu, whatever I want, then which version I want, I can choose which version I want. So I have these options here. So depending on my needs, I can select a certain version of Windows. So for now, and then if I want to set up a persistent disk or a standard persistent disk, so the details of it we will discuss as we go forward. Um, and then the size of the disk, if I want to if I want to assign the size of the disk like 100 GB or something, depending my needs, so I can also make that change and assign it. Or else, if there is already an existing system, if there is already an existing VM, I want to recreate that VM, I can just use the snapshot option. Now for instance, if I'm having a VM, let me just go back. There is already an existing VM, so I would like to create a snapshot of that VM. I can use a snapshot option here somewhere. If I want to take a snapshot, I can use the snapshots option, and then using the snapshot, I can create a snapshot of my VM, and then I can just go ahead and restore my VM. So for instance, if I want to use my VM, I can just use the RDP here. I can just use the RDP, or else I can just download the RDP as well. Okay, so I can provide my password, and once I provide my password, so I'll not be connecting directly here. So once I provide my password, I should be able to get into the my virtual machine. This is how we can create virtual machines. And then if I don't want my virtual machine to keep running, so for now this particular virtual machine is running. So if I want to stop it, I can stop, suspend, then reset, look at the details, and then look at the monitoring tools. Even the IP address, if I want, like this is a dynamic IP address I have set for this virtual machine. If going forward, if I want to set up something static, then there are also ways in the settings we can configure and set up static IP address. So with this demo, I think we are good enough. Thank you for joining.